Part 1. Parallax. Saturday, July 23rd, +1 NE. Chapter 1. Dead Man Walking. Sequence ID number 928. Data begins. The last thing he remembered was finally breaking free from the suffocating confines of the putrid bathroom. His next challenge was shuffling through the dimly lit plane without bumping the shoulders of passengers sleeping in aisle seats. He was the only person still awake. The low hum of the cabin was hypnotizing, but the air was uncomfortably warm and smelled of stale sweat. Everything about the plane looked well past its expiration date. Having this many people in such a small space is unnatural, Marcus thought, jostling by incapacitated roommates to his window seat. Instability replaced his sense of calm, as if the floor would drop from beneath him. He took a deep breath to center himself, but before he could exhale or fasten his seatbelt, one of the plane's alarms blared. The wall beside him ripped away, sucking him into the nighttime abyss. The whole incident happened twice, instantly, and in slow motion, with both versions fading to black. At 35,000 feet, there was a third of the normal oxygen, and Marcus lost consciousness moments after the plane tore apart. He fell until he was below the death zone, the boundary where human brains can stay awake. As his vision came back into focus, Marcus found himself tumbling alone through the darkness. An arc of golden light stretched across the horizon, separating the endless water below from the infinite space above. The sky was clear in every direction, and the moon's reflection danced across the purple sea in a long silver beam cut by isolated mountain islands. Despite the present circumstances, Marcus felt peaceful. This was a nice place to die, he thought. As a child, someone told him that fear of death would shut down his brain, but his mind was sharper than ever. Time had slowed to a crawl. Each passing second was like a century. His life didn't flash before him in a series of visuals. Instead, it engaged all of his senses. He remembered the feeling of his mother's embrace and the rosemary scent of her shampoo. He felt the earth under his bare feet as he explored the mountains with his father. Although his mind didn't remain on any memory for more than an instant, each immersed him. How ironic, Marcus said to himself. Years ago, he'd read a popular mechanics article about consciously falling from an airplane that broke apart mid-air. He only remembered fragments of the story, including it was worse to hit water than concrete because it swallows you up even if you survive the impact, which a surprising number of people do. There was nothing but sea below. Marcus knew he had zero chance. He wasn't sure how much time was left, which liberated him from obsessing over the exact moment of his end. For now, he could enjoy being alive, surrounded by unbounded beauty. His mind wandered to the other passengers. He'd been the first one to board, and avoided eye contact with the parade of First World refugees carrying a hodgepodge of personal belongings to their temporary seats. If he'd known they were destined to die together, he'd have behaved differently. As Marcus contemplated the meaning of their shared fate, a massive explosion illuminated the night. It was the plane. The force was powerful enough to shove him across the sky, momentarily warming his exposed skin. He was naked, stripped of his clothing by the air rushing around him. As the orange ball of fire disappeared in his peripheral vision, the chill of the wind returned. Flickering scraps of metal, cloth, and plastic littered the air like confetti. It was all that remained of the other passengers. His heart ached for them, but he still had time to enjoy these fleeting moments of life. And the final wave of joy washed over him. Sequence ID number 928. Data ends. Marcus woke up next to 5 members of the cohort, 3 more than when he'd started the sequence. Like the 2 that had preceded them, all were holding uncharacteristically still. The large elliptical space was dark, and the low hum of the Liberty Bell provided a sense of momentary comfort. He searched his memory for any hint of what he'd just done, but drew an expected blank. His head, chest, and stomach were burning with pain. This had to be the peak of his anxiety, Marcus thought. It felt like waking from a nightmare as a child when fear, uncertainty, and doubt heightened the senses. He descended to the iron-red floor and shuffled toward his locker to remove the exo. A note in the locker room invited him to party with the rest of his cohort. From his conversation with Brad that morning, Marcus knew their time as a team was running out. But he had no idea they'd completed their final sequence together. Anthony was waiting, and since family came first for Marcus, he left the lab without saying goodbye. It was a hot July night, and the ground radiated as he walked off the university campus. The smell of barbecues and fire pits permeated the air, along with the muffled sounds of music. Thick gray clouds blanketed the sky now, and humidity magnified the orange sun as it slipped behind the mountains. The world seemed stable, even if he was on edge. The peace was temporary since the fireworks would begin any moment. Utah was celebrating. He couldn't shake the uneasiness. Despite taking his recent drama into account, this was worse than usual. In an attempt at self-distraction, Marcus checked his phone, but the plan backfired spectacularly. There was a bombardment of encrypted messages about the end of the world from Jordan, a threatening email from Diana CCing her lawyer, a dozen missed calls from Anthony, and a single text from Monica. He cleared the other notifications and read Monica's message. IMS, please stop ignoring me. I love you. Don't end things like this, just talk to me. Sad face. Marcus stopped and took a series of slow, deep breaths. Though the words didn't change, each reread caused a flood of different emotions to course through his veins. It had been an intense 4 months. For such a short amount of time, it felt like an eternity. The shriek of fireworks caused him to jump out of his skin. As he regained his composure, his phone rang, triggering a memory of the choices that brought him to this moment.